Hello, my name is Roya, and I will be reviewing the three books that I read in the first half of September. So the first one is Spindles End by Rodman McKinley. This is a Sleeping Beauty retelling in which it is kind of a funny spin on the story, in which the main character is, given all these gifts by the fairies about, like, she's going to have golden hair and all this, like, stuff that makes her seem like she's going to be really good looking, but when she grows up, she's not good looking at all. She just has golden hair and long eyelashes and all that stuff because no one actually said she was going to be really good looking. And some of the other gifts she was given were like, she's going to be really good at embroidery, her dancing is going to be the best, blah blah blah. But she like thinks that embroidery and dancing is really stupid, so no one ever sees that she can do those things at all. And so basically, this book, like, while it kind of had that funny spin on it and it was kind of clever, like, it was pretty boring. It had no character depth and practically no world building at all, and so it was kind of a letdown. Basically, the most of the story follows the main character growing up in this, like, small town, because since the evil fairy puts her spell on her and everything that's supposed to take effect when she's 21, somebody kind of whisks her off to a small town to keep her safe and stuff like that. So she grows up. It follows her, like, growing up, not knowing she's the princess, blah blah blah. And so overall it was kind of boring. Like, there really was not a lot of conflict for the vast majority of the book. And then since we got so little character depth or anything, the final showdown between the main character and the villain felt really anticlimactic. And then also what was really weird is that the main character does not have a love interest for the entire book. And then in the last 3 pages of the book, she suddenly gains a love interest. And that seemed a little bit odd because that character was there the whole time, and yet there was no subtext or anything to, like, them having feelings for each other whatsoever. And, like, it could have been a really good pairing and everything, but, like, we don't know because there was nothing between them at all until the last, like, 3 pages of the book. They, like, admit their feelings to each other all of a sudden, and I'm like, where'd that come from? So it just felt like this book just lacked a lot of depth overall. So overall, not a bad book, just really, really, like, lacking in a lot. Tokyo Ever After by Emiko Jean. This is a happy little feel-good story, kind of, that I felt like I really needed right now because I'm living in a hotel and I'm all kinds of stressed. But anyway, so it's really good. It's about a girl who doesn't know that so she finds out when she's 18 that her father is the crown prince of Japan, and her mother had just never told her anything, pretty much. And so she gets invited to Japan and gets embroiled in all kinds of media slander, and, her cousins don't like her and they're kind of trying to get back at her for, like, nothing, pretty much. And just a lot of stuff happens and that she doesn't really know how to, like, navigate, and all kinds of stuff. And so it's a really good book. There were times when I really could not put it down, and then unfortunately what happened was my cat Horatio decided to knock a water bowl onto it, so I had to put this book in the freezer for a week. So I kept really wanting to get back to this book, but since it was still in the freezer, I could not. But anyway, it's a really good book. I definitely do recommend it if you're looking for, like, a nice, happy, feel-good story, for sure. And then I followed that up with something sad. So anyway, the last book that I read in the first half of September was The Stationery Shop by Marjan Kamali. This is a book about basically a girl in 1950s Iran who falls in love with a boy, and they're about to get married and everything. And then she basically receives a letter from him breaking up with her. And it's revealed to the reader pretty soon after that that that's not exactly as it seems, and all kinds of stuff. But what's interesting is the story actually starts when they're 77 and they're reunited again, for the first time since that happened. And then the story's told in flashback. And so I had been shying away from historical fiction for the most part in recent years. Basically just because I got a little bit tired of reading, like, about someone's entire life in just, like, one book and just the time it takes me to read a book. But this book had a really nice way of kind of dealing with that and not making me feel like that, not giving me that weird feeling of, ew, I just read about someone's entire life in such a short time, that's so sad, or anything like that, because it's a lot shorter. It doesn't go into every little thing. It's also really interesting to me seeing what Iran was like and what politically was going on back then. That because that was before my mom's era. That was like probably 20 years or so before the revolution happened, and my mom left Iran at 18. So this main character, whose name is Roya, by the way, like my name is the same as this main character's, and I went into the book knowing that, and it was still weird seeing my name like in a book. But anyway, so pretty much she leaves Iran at 18, like 20 years before my mom did. Like this is a totally different era, and seeing kind of the kind of what politically was going on back then that eventually led to what politically went on when my mom had to leave Iran. Like it was kind of interesting because you like know as the reader like what's gonna happen 20 years down the line ish. Yeah, so that was just really funny and like really interesting to me. But yeah, so this was a really good book with just a lot of very interesting kind of themes about it, I think, like, because, I mean, the two main characters, they went on with their lives. Like, they did have good, happy lives where they, like, felt, they did get married to people they really loved, and they had kids and all that stuff, but it's still this, like, very sad, like, they never stopped thinking about each other the whole time, and each of them thought something different happened that made them not be able to get married after all. But really it wasn't either of their decisions at all. So it's so weird how, you know, you can have a great life and then still kind of wish it might have been different, completely different anyway, and you just never know. It's just so odd. And also, like, huge content warnings for loss of a child, by the way, just saying, because it comes up in this whole book, like, in multiple different ways. So if you're trying, like, just putting that out there, if you're trying to avoid loss of a child content, there is a lot of it in this book. But overall, but yeah, I really enjoyed this book. I actually gave it 5 stars, even though I think really it was more like a 4.5. But it was really, really good, and I highly recommend it. So anyway, those are the 3 books that I read in the first half of September. Let me know if you've read any of these, have any thoughts on them or anything like that, and I will see you very soon with a new video, which will hopefully be in my new rental house, because hopefully we will be out of this hotel. Even though our house is not finished being repaired, it might not be for a little while, but we are actually moving into an actual house. So hopefully when next time I see you guys in one of these videos, it will be in some kind of nice rental house. So yeah, so I will see you guys very soon. Bye.